to Apache Craft Essentials. I'm Jamie Goodyear, and today we're going to talk about the OSGi Lifecycle. So you're an Apache Craft developer, and you've been wondering what makes our applications dynamic. It's the OSGi Lifecycle of our bundles underneath the hood. Let's take a look at the diagram that explains how this works. So when we install our application bundles, what we're really doing is saying to the framework, I want this jar to become available to the container, but it's actually not installed. It's not actually wired to anything. I just want to make you aware of it. What that looks like on the terminal, let's take a look real quick. We'll fire up Karaf and I'll show you that we actually have an application partially installed here. We're going to install an application here. Now let's get this copied and pasted in. So we're taking this application bundle and we're going to install it into Karaf, and you'll see we're going to bundle ID 78. What that's saying is that this is the little shoebox that Karaf is now aware of this application living in, and we can take a look at its headers to say, hey, what does this thing need to be installed? And we can see it needs to get from the environment these particular packages and version ranges, and then it's going to provide to the container this particular package. Let's go back to the slides. So from here, if I was to do an update or refresh command, in the case, say, an update, that means I want to fetch the latest snapshots I've built and put it in its place. Otherwise, the update or refresh command is going to just do the recalculations of saying, hey, what dependencies does this bundle have? It's not actually going to change the transition to the next state. If I was to resolve, that's generally what I want to do. I'm going to say, I want the system to take a look at my application and say, hey, does all the dependencies I need to be running successfully exist and are in the right version range? If they are, it's going to resolve my bundle and put me into a resolved state. Otherwise, I'm going to stay in that installed state. Otherwise, if I wanted to uninstall it, I would just be taking it out of the container. So it's just going to move it to the uninstalled state, which really just takes it out of your console list. And then any of the remaining references will get removed once you do that bundle refresh. But let's get back to the resolved state. So in the terminal, I have currently installed my bundle. If I do a resolve on 78, we're going to see that that gets resolved. That means all of its dependencies were met. It's available and we're ready to start doing something else with that particular bundle. Now, if we were to do an update or refresh at this moment, the update is going to put us back to that installed state because we've grabbed things and we have to now do all that recalculations. The refreshing all that, that's going to say, hey, get all of my dependencies, figure out what I need to have here, and we'll have to go back through that dance. Otherwise, if we were going to uninstall it, well, again, we'll just get it out of the container. But more importantly, if we start our application, which is what we really want to do, we're going to be telling the system, hey, okay, now we got our bundle, take a look in the activator and call its start method. Every bundle has an activator. If you're using Blueprint or declarative services, these things are implicit, but generally you have one of these files in here if you're doing things purely in OSGi. In our case, we are going to be interested in that start method. The start method, this is where you're going to want to be able to go reach out to any kind of remote dependency like a database or a web service, something like that, and make sure you have those connections. Once we are through that starting process and everything goes as planned, we'll get to the active state. Let's take a look quickly into terminal. So I'm going to hit start on bundle 78. And this one's going to take a little while to connect because it's actually talking to a couple of services in the background. We'll see this actual application in a video shortly. In the meanwhile, this one will do its connections and we'll see that it has connected to all of its resources. It's available under the headers. We'll see that, yep, all of that's there. Most importantly, the export package is now actually live in the system. So what that means is that the packages have been exported. Other bundles can now make use of this. So if I was to install another application package, it would now be able to grab onto that package as part of its dependencies. So after this, if we were to stop our system, we're going to say, hey, stop. That goes back to the activator, looks for that stop command. That is effectively where you're going to want to have the system get rid of any connections it has, i.e. it was connected to some database or maybe have a remote AI it's connected to. So I'm just going to, hey, stop on 78, and we'll see that we're back to our resolved state. Just for funs, I'm just going to do an uninstall on 78, and you can see that we've actually removed the entire thing from the system. So with that, we've gone through the entire life cycle of what an application looks like going into Craft using the full OSGi lifecycle. In the future, I'd like to have a quick chat with you about how the bundle activator, blueprint, declarative system services all work nicely together. Until then, have a great day.